People often forget what they read after some time, and it doesn't matter the type of book it is, be it self-improvement, academic books, or the likes. But the issue is that the problem is not you. It is the system you apply when you're studying or when you're reading. See, it is not your fault why we forget easily. Our working memory has a limited numbers of informations that it can process at a time. And when we bombard our brain with too much informations, in less than no time, we tend to forget everything that we read. And that is the reason why I am making this video, to show you an effective way you can apply or you can use to remember what you read. But before then, let's play a game. Now, bring out any book that you've read for over a month. This book was one of the books I read over a month. So aside from the name, let's remember one thing about this book. Now, to me, this book is a book that teaches you how to break down your habits, or how to build a new habit from little habits, or how to compound little habit to become a whole habit. And that is one of the things I learned. So you can as well do that in your own case. What is the next thing can I remember about this book here? From this book, another thing I can still remember about this book is that in order for you to break your bad habits, you need to first of all be aware of the bad habit. And if you're also creating a new one or adopting a new habit, you also need to make it obvious. So now, if you are aware of the bad habits that you have, in that case you are expected to make it hidden or make it invisible, whereas the one you want to create, you need to make it obvious. So if building a good habit is making it obvious, then breaking a bad habit will definitely be making it invisible. So the next thing we also need to do is to make after making it obvious, we also need to make it attractive. After making it attractive, we also need to make it easy. And after making it easy, we need to make it satisfying before a new habit can be formed. These are the things I'm able to remember about this book. And before this habit can be formed, there are something that form or that lead to the habit itself, which is the 2 C's and the 2 R. So for the first 2 C's, we have the cue and we have the craving. And the next 2 R, we have the response and the reward. So in your case, now, if you're able to do the same the way I did, it means you are one of the top 1% that apply the method I'm about to show, or that apply the ways that I'm about to explain. Anyways, you can check my previous video to see the 10 lessons I learned from Atomic Habits that will change your life. Before making this video, I made some research and I realized that it has been shown from study that we can only remember 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, and 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we discuss with others, 80% of what we experience, and 90% of what we teach others. Let's play another game. From this video, look at what you can see. I have a flower here, I have a desk, I have a mug with 6 pens here, and I have a stick note, I have a book here, I have a short or little tripod there, and I have some books here. I bet that the only thing you remember after what I have shown and say is what you've seen or what I show you. And have you ever asked yourself why we tend to remember what we see to what we read? Now, the reason is because our brain converts what we see into a digital information, then store it in our memory. Now, since we've been able to realize that there's a lower percentage of remembering what we read, then it means that bombarding it with too much information will be a problem. Now, how can we read anything effectively and be able to remember most of them? The first, we break down any complex information or complex book into tiny bits to consume. Now, the case goes for the Atomic Habit that I read. I actually read that book for 10 days, and in order for me to read it effectively and remember most of what is inside, the first thing I did was to split them into bits or into little parts that I can actually read to understand. If I had read much of the book at once, there will definitely be a problem in the long run, which means I will end up forgetting or losing most of the information I absorbed or I read. Another thing that I did was writing down the informations or what resonates with me from the book on a piece of paper. When writing on a piece of paper or on a sheet of paper, it enables your brain to think, and when your brain thinks when you write or when you study, definitely your brain is actually performing an activity or a function, which is processing the information. And whenever it is done processing the information, those ones you're able to understand will be stored into your memory, and those are most of the things you're likely going to remember.